We live.
We live. What's
Jewel
up? How
Dropper.
are you?
Yes.
What's
Good
up,
to
Ray?
see
How you
you once again. Wonderful,
doing?
wonderful, wonderful.
Good to see you too.
So let's rewind
Okay.
for the people. How's everything going? Tell me how things are going once again, and start and start there on your latest escapades.
Okay. So, well, things are going how they're going. Like I'm not. It is what it is. But anyway, so we had our little George Floyd Soros funded march up here, and I guess my daughter found out about it through social media. So she, we of course we went out and marched all through the town and things. And so when we got to the destination, there was this little, I guess I want to say she's Korean and black or Filipino and black or something like that. Supposedly she was the person that posted this to get all these numerous people out in Alaska to go to this parade. So once we got to the destination point, she got up on the bench. Are you there? Are you around? Hello? So
Okay,
anyway,
my bad, my
she
bad.
got up
Go
on
ahead.
the bench and she was just like, "Oh my God, I'm so thankful that you all came and you love." And I mean, that's where she was going with that. And then I said to her, I said, "Can you speak to the history of any of this?" And she was uh, like she didn't know what to say. So I just basically started speaking to the history of it. It was a crowd of people out there. And I don't know what happened. It was just like I was just like, you guys do understand this is about the American. Oh, I'm having a hot summer. I was just like, you do
Yeah.
understand that this is about the American descendants of slaves. And as I went into the spiel about how we were easy marks and how we're, so poverty stricken and how the whole United States is built on basically the blood and our bones. I was even able to bring it back to Alaska about us building the railroad and the uh, highway once again, just to make Pacific. But as I began to speak, and as I was, making it clear about us being indigenous and us being about the American descendants of slaves, um, and basically I was just making it known to the crowd that, as my Pacific group and as a group of Americans, we have been lied to. Well, half the crowd was happy about that conversation, and there was another part of the crowd that wasn't. So
Mm,
it was like totally mixed messaging.
mm,
But basically, after I gave that little speech, I did get I put the crowd on hush for one, and then
mm.
I got a pretty sufficient hand clap after that, especially for some of the younger black folks that were out there. And then this is how I knew it was something funded by Soros. At
Mm.
the end of it, after I got through, there was a woman who came up to me and she was just like, "Oh my God, that was such a wonderful speech, blah, 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 blah." And then she said, "Can I get your picture?" And I was just like, uh,
Hmm.
no. And then she was
Right.
like, she goes, "I already have the whole speech on film." So I was
Mm.
like, "Yeah, okay, I'm going to go ahead and let her get my picture regardless. It is what it is."
Okay.
Um, so she gave me this, out of town phone number, and I was just like, "So you're not from here?" And she goes, "Yeah, I am from here. I just recently came back up here from Florida." That's bullshit. She had no,
Mm.
even if you're black or white, Alaskans, we have a certain kind of swag to us that is
Mm.
uniquely Alaskan,
Mm.
right? She had Florida all over her. Like that was
Mm.
from the way she dressed, from the way she talked. And I don't think if you've only been here a week, you're going to be interested in going out into doing some George Floyd march when you got to get your house straightened out. You got to get your job worked out. This, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, she protested a little too much. She was really trying to get me to believe that she was had been here and was returning here as a long-term resident. But even so, like Alaskans, we just kind of know each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? White or black.
Right. And she wasn't from around these parts.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Had never been from around these parts.
Right.
But I went ahead and I let her take the picture. And another thing, we had the spell casting shirts about I can't breathe. But during the march, I kind of switched it up, and I was just like, we are going to breathe. You know what I mean? Because for a minute there,
Right.
I let like the cadence and everything, because I know the names of the people, the Breonna Taylor, the Fiona Castros, the Mike Browns. We just wasn't gonna call Floyd's name if I was out there. You know, we
Right.
were gonna call
Exactly.
a whole bunch of names.
Exactly. You're right. Well, man, let me tell you, this thing is so weird to me.
It is.
Now, and it's so disturbing. You sent me something just saying how you were just utterly disturbed at what you're seeing with this whole
Right.
thing, even though it happened. We're sitting at what, almost 2 weeks now,
Yeah.
when George Floyd happened.
Right.
So go into why you say you're disturbed now. Why this? What's going on with you
Well,
in this?
for what what happened was, like when the whole George Floyd thing came out, like it really didn't affect me, but it affected one of my family members, and I was just kind of like, okay, I was just kind of like, pushing it off, and like I'm about my square. So, that's how I make it, is because I have a square to defend and to stand on. It's, for me, it's normal people who don't have a square to stand on that are these wibbly wobbly characters and personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And watching my family member kind of experience the trauma of that, it just kind of rubbed off on me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's the whole, even though that that it's us, but the totality and confirmation of, no, these people really are pulling our card,
Yeah.
fake or real. They are
Mm-hmm.
pulling our card. They're like, come hither. Not that
Yeah.
I'm not afraid, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and they're looking for that God gene or whatever. Also, you know what I mean? It was
Right.
just kind of like, for me, I was just like, ooh, did I just put myself on G status when I just shut this crowd up? And
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? That shit rolled off my tongue. So it was like stuff
Yeah.
I didn't even knew I knew. It just kind of flowed out. So,
But no,
yeah.
you are on that G status just because of who you are, and they're exposing it. This thing is
Yeah.
all based in fear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. You were talking about casting spells. I'm gonna tell you about another spell that I see. This over niceness from white people that I'm getting. You know, I move around.
Right.
I move around. I move about.
Right.
As soon as I look up, hey, they jumping to say, hey, I'm not racist, hey. But they over the top with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think even at first I was like, okay, they're trying to show that they not one of them.
Right.
But it's so extreme now. I mean, it's like it's so much. I think a part of that is them trying to cast a spell to lull us. It's more intent with it than them just being afraid. I think it's a motive behind them being overly nice like that. Now, some of them, it's a sincerity of them saying, "Look, we ain't on that," but it's others that it's just too. It's too staged. It's too rehearsed.
Right. And what kind of got me was less like, I don't know if you like what you've seen on social media so far, like the kneeling before us and things like, we know that's
Yeah,
prophesied in the Bible and all that, but I'm just like, what the hell are y'all doing?
yeah,
Like, and it was just kind of funny. I was
yeah.
at Costco the other day, and I had a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna lie, my cart was full from the top to the bottom. Okay, you know, like you have, you know, people that will help you. I'm a woman and I was by myself. Like I had three like white guys just kind of like, oh, I can help you get that in the truck. You know what I mean? I was just like, all
Yeah.
the time that I have been single and shopping, I
Mm-hmm.
can get one white man to help me get my shit in my vehicle, and now I have three.
Right. Right.
I was just like, okay, whatever. But I need that shit in
Right.
that truck. So yeah, load that shit up.
Load that shit up.
Load that
But
shit up.
you know what? It just goes to show that if you're not centered in ADOSness with all this,
Anger.
you're going to be confused. You're gonna fall for the okie doke. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
fall for the okie doke. Cause that's what BLM is all about. It's to steer us away
It's
from
grifting.
it's straight up grifting.
It's grifting.
Straight
It's
up.
straight up grifting. And then now we found out all this money that they're raising and that the donations come in go to help presidents get elected.
Right.
Like Warren got so much money, Harris got so much money, Biden got so much money. Like that
Mm-hmm.
BLM is some bullshit. Oh, that's another thing I did during the cadence. I was just like, Black Lives Matter too. You know what I mean? Just to add just like that little extra something on it, because like words are so important, and just those little tweaks like that, I was just like, don't give me that shirt. No, I don't want that shirt. I said we gonna get them up off our necks and we gonna breathe around this mug. So I can't
Right.
wear that shirt. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Right. Yeah.
and no, we're gonna breathe. We're gonna get these mugs
No,
up
we
off our necks.
breathing. We breathing around here.
And we breathing around
You're
here.
not finna cast that spell,
No.
you know? And
No.
it's just, yeah. I tell you, it's not a game. It's not a game at the end of the day. But BLM, as far as I'm concerned, they're a front group for the Democratic Party, playing like they're about the people, but
I
the
like the way
higher
Pharaoh broke this stuff down. Pharaoh broke it down to like white supremacy really hides the Satanist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the real of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're racist, but they're really Satanist, and the Satanists are letting the white supremacists do their dirty work for them.
Exactly. You're right.
So that's how now I know 100% like it's on and popping with us and them.
On and popping.
It's on and popping. But I mean, that lady, like, she didn't want my picture for no reason. You know what I mean? She wanted to be like, look, it was like I was made for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
It was just it was anything more than I could even conceive myself. Yeah. And I don't like people. I don't like crowds. That's just not my get down.
Mm.
You know, it's just not. I'm a very introspective person. And, you know, for her to ask me for my picture and all that, I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
But then she was like, I already got the whole speech on. I already got it. Give me the picture. I was like, okay. You got it.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like, ain't nobody fooling with them.
Mm-mm.
Ain't nobody fooling with them. We see what's up. And this time is exposing those of us that are paid and bought for, that's working for the Satanists. Because if you're in this space and your birthright flows through the soil,
right?
If your blood flows through the soil, if you're an American descendant of slavery, in this moment, and you're talking about this need to be about trans blacks, this need to be, how come y'all not giving energy to the women, like making it, trying to be divisive, you know?
Yeah, T. Madison, I don't know if you're aware who that is. T. Madison, she's a trans or whatever. She had the nerve to get on TV on YouTube crying about, I'm black and I'm on the front lines, and if I was to die, you know, like nobody would care. I'm just like, and I mean, she was so derogatory with it. She went way overboard with them. It was just basically degradation was that
Mm-hmm.
conversation. And I'm just like, how is that any of our problems? You saying you black?
Right.
Okay, you black. But how
Right.
is who you sleeping with my problem? How is it because these black dudes is breaking your heart? How is that my problem? How is
Right.
the fact that you have female, have male? How is that my damn problem?
Right. Right. And what the
That's
hell
not
does that
my
have
problem.
and what the hell does that have to do with the moment that we're in right now?
Because
Especially
we're not going to put you on a pedestal and cry if you get killed or something. You made yourself that freak. So you're
exactly.
welcome to stand on that. That's your square. You stand on it. But I don't gotta like it.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
matter of fact, I'm neutral about it. I don't care one way or the other because that's between you and God. I got
Right.
my own beef with God. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But you're not about to sit here and propagate your sexuality over our G status. God is
Mm-hmm.
a dome, and I'm sorry, you ain't in it.
You better talk your shit. For real.
You know, God is a dome, and you're not in it.
But it just pisses me off because it's like y'all don't see what this is. Y'all don't see what the play is.
It's, you know what? There's so many narratives running though. There's the defund the police narrative running. There's the police brutality running. There's the transsexual narrative running. There's the where do we go from here narrative
Mm-hmm.
running.
The
There's
black feminists.
the ADOS needs a nonprofit bullshit narrative running. There are so many narratives running. So if you're not like a stoop, it's hard for me to keep up. And I'm just like a stream of. I might as well be a computer myself as much as I stream information and just trying to keep up with it all. There's so many narratives running that I can see where somebody that's not in this since 2004, going back to 1999, I can see where somebody could get totally twisted up in this and just take off.
Now rewind. What? See, okay. I heard Yvette mention that one time. The nonprofit. What are your views on the nonprofit? Yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay. Why not?
We supposed to be broke, so we gonna pay for a nonprofit, but we not gonna pay for a super PAC. No,
We need it. I know we need a super PAC.
no, girl,
I agree
no,
with you. I
no,
agree. We
no,
need a super PAC.
no.
I
We gotta pay
definitely
for our
believe.
politics just like everybody else. I don't care what she says. And a nonprofit is just a way for her to divert that money. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna say it like it is. Like, no.
Yeah, I'm not a friend. I'm not a fan of a nonprofit.
Okay, but and then the other thing is this is where I have issues with Yvette. She teaches us about how we're not a charity, right? But then she wants to go and open up a 501c3. Oh, so you gonna do bidding with the devil in a contract with the 501c in ADOS name? No, I'm not feeling that.
Yeah. Well, or it could be a 501c4.
I don't care. We need a super PAC over a nonprofit.
I
I mean,
definitely.
she's
Yeah,
gonna
we
have to
definitely.
tell me what that nonprofit is about. I'm not feeling that.
Well, we definitely. It's obvious we need a super PAC.
We
We
need the
need a
super
super PAC.
PAC. We don't need that
Yeah.
damn nonprofit.
Yeah, I don't. I'd have to see what she is planning to use the nonprofit for. But just overall,
No,
I know we need it. I know we need a super PAC. I know that.
I need
I
to see
know.
who the board is. Let's see your
Yeah,
board members
definitely.
and let's research them, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, to be continued
To
on
be
that.
continued, absolutely.
So it came out. They snuck it out this week that asymptomatic carriers aren't spreading the virus.
Fauci need his. I was watching his little Yahoo. I, he's just so obscuring the science. It's
Mm,
like I'm glad to be 53 because I have the foundation of what was prior and how it worked. Got to watch it work. Got to experience being sick. All those things.
mm,
You know, it's there's just so much. I mean, even the CDC's website, the misinformation and all the changing. There is no excuse for this.
right.
The drum beat isn't steady. It's awkward. It's disjointed.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I saw that he let that kind of slip out, but then tried to obscure the science to turn
Right.
it into, yeah, asymptomatic people can pass it on to people that don't have it at all. Like,
Yeah. Come
yeah,
on. Come on.
dude.
But see, that's the thing. The protests or the uprisings proved that COVID was some bullshit.
The uprising aren't over though. That's what I'm worried about. So, okay, just like at George Floyd's funeral, what are they gonna say? Did you see all those Negroes in one place?
Mm,
I'm just wondering, is the vaccination place gonna show up there first?
mm,
You know what I mean? I just think there's gonna be a second, third, and fourth run because you and I have even discussed about the so many various strains that they have out there. And
right.
I know they have those strains up here.
And see, this is straight up bio warfare, bioterrorism that they're waging.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why we got to be on point as possible to try to keep our immune system strong. But there's so much stuff at play,
Right.
just all these strains. But we just got to do the best we can on that. But that's why it's good to keep getting this information out there. That look, Fauci's bullshit.
Yeah.
If you don't believe this now, when are you gonna see this? You know,
Right.
Gates is bullshit. Gates is behind the
I think Gates know he's
mosquitoes.
caught though. I think he know he caught. He's got to
Mm,
know he's caught.
yeah, he's caught, but you know, his wife came out and said that black people need to get the vaccine after healthcare workers.
That's a ploy.
Yeah, it is. But the thing about it is
That's to make black people
they're
feel
not
safe.
they're not going to be able to make vaccines mandatory because let's be honest, white folks ain't going for it.
Right.
White folks ain't going for it. But hold on. What's up, fam?
Yeah, man. What you doing?
I'm live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I saw your message.
Okay. Well, I'll hit you unless you want to get on and chop it up for a minute.
You want me to get on there?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, all right. Well, you gotta send me the thing then.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll get Ian on for a minute.
Right. What about Fauci's wife though? Have you seen what's up with her?
Hey.
How she's in cahoots with the Experiment Human Institute or something like that, where they have convinced people just to go in there and let them test on them without paying them and just sacrificing their body to science without no compensation, no nothing.
Wow, are you serious?
Yes.
See, they
Her name
so
is Christine Grady, I think it is. I mean, yeah, she's like, there's so many conflicts of interest in this thing.
yeah. See,
And just
that's
people, I mean, people are really just sacrificing themselves for science to these people.
yeah. It's and see that's the thing. They're not gonna be able to do the mandatory vaccines because at the end of the day, the white folks ain't going for it.
I
So
sure hope not.
only people that's gonna fall for it I'm gonna be honest with you, it's black folks. Black folks is probably gonna be the main ones that's gonna fall for the vaccines. And it's because they putting out stories like Melinda Gates saying that black people need to be the first ones to get the vaccines
And
after
then,
healthcare
and then
workers.
what about the lot of white folks that are going to agree with that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's one of them. Like, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna wake up fast enough. Like, I'm not convinced.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's about that remnant, you know. Some
Yeah,
folks gonna go for this, some folks ain't. But yeah, it's a wonderful time to be alive and be able
it
to see
is.
it, you
It
know.
is. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, getting to live through this. Like, I don't know. Some of us, I think, like, we are here for this specific moment. The right people are here at the right time to set the example.
yeah, and that's why I think really with all of these police brutality incidents, they're all strategically placed in front of us on purpose to show the disdain that they have for us. It's by design,
Right.
and it's a form of retaliation for us being more politically savvy.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, because we've done a lot in that little bit of time, and just from social media, you know what I mean? Because we're spread out all over the place. But when you start sinking ships, like all this stuff, like all these bullshit ass candidates that they're trying to float by us, we've just taken their heads off. Like, no, not, no, this one off. We're not doing that no more.
Exactly.
You
So
know?
they sick about that.
Yeah.
Because, and this really goes into, there is a concerted effort to get Trump out of office. I don't like the dude either. He's racist. You know what I'm saying? He's a buster. But
Right.
we gotta understand that they want him out there. They want him out of there bad. They want him out of there bad. You know, to the point where you have Black Lives Matter on the scene, who is just really, like we said, an arm of the Democratic Party, who we haven't seen since an election cycle.
Right.
You know, why is the only time we see them is during an election cycle? That's
And
my
like,
issue.
my whole thing is how they think that we're not taking note of these patterns. Like,
Yeah,
come on, y'all.
yeah, yeah. It's so obvious.
It's
So
overly obvious.
yeah,
And then they do it in the name of our folks. So it's like that shit. It's just not cool. It's
yeah.
what they're doing, and it's just not cool at all.
Mm-hmm. But strategy wise, hey, let them do what they do.
And we gonna do what we do.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're gonna do what we do.
But that,
I think a lot more of us are gonna just start having made for them moments, because that was a made for me moment. There was nobody else that could have done. Now that I go back and I think about it, there was nobody else that could have done that at that time, in that space, in that way.
mm,
And I think what's going to happen is they're going to be looking for people that are in these made for them Pacific moments.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you
So
don't
we
have
got,
a lot of those, but when you have them, you know it.
they have an impact.
Yeah.
I mean, cause we cannot take out the whole spiritual component to this thing. Are you aware that there were 28,000 lightning strikes in Washington, D.C.?
No. But I
Yeah,
know when there's been certain times of certain ills going on, that Washington, the Capitol itself, gets struck.
Mm.
So does the Vatican.
Yeah.
So yeah. When was this?
It was the same day that I think it was the day after Trump held that Bible out in front of that church. Let me see.
Whoa.
Yeah. Let me see where it is.
Because wasn't Nancy Pelosi holding it like that same day or the next day after that? Like she was holding the Bible too, with her little Satan hand signals.
Right. Hey, we already know they both affiliated.
Mm-hmm.
Pelosi ain't trying to get with that spot for nobody.
And she's like 80 years old. Did you hear her? She could barely stand up. Somebody had to come help her. Like, you know, there's an agenda running when you're like 80 years old and you're still out here trying to rah it up for some politics. And you're rich and you're wealthy and you don't necessarily need to work. You know, this is an agenda running.
Yes. And she's being, and that's the thing, you know, they being drugged.
Black folks would have been like, oh, I put in my 40. I'm going home to the couch. See you later.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it was almost 87,000 lightning strikes in Washington, D.C. Saturday, nearly 2/3 the annual average. So they got in one day, well, it says a barrage of lightning strikes numbered in the tens of thousands pummeled Washington's. Hold on, this is Washington. Oh, this is the state of Washington.
Oh, okay.
This is the state of Washington.
Not the capital.
Not the capital.
But we still might want to check out something's going on there because that's not normal.
No, that's definitely not normal. Crazy. Okay, I got that wrong. I thought Washington D.C. got hit with them doggone.
Just as long as you corrected it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
That. But I would still be interested into seeing what's going on in that area as of late. You know, because they had tunnels running through Washington as well. So.
Yeah. So
anything could be possible at this point in time.
Yeah, anything could be possible. We just gotta stay aware of the psyops that's running, and I think if we keep on doing what we're doing, just like you said, that's the only thing we got to do. Not be distracted by every. But we still got to take a look at it. So, did you watch Where Do We Go From Here?
From who? Yvette?
Or did you watch any of it, or did you take anything from it? Because I didn't catch it. I know Yvette spoke to it a little bit, but I didn't want to waste my time with nothing.
I just could not. I was just like, I'll get to it next week or whatever. Yeah. I was just gonna run out there and watch it, considering the source. No.
You're right. Yeah, ain't nobody fooling with that.
It's garbage.
Yeah. So, but it's worth analyzing.
It is.
We know that
that's not. It wasn't worth analyzing it right off the bat. As soon as it came out, for me, it wasn't.
Right.
You know, so kind of is what it is.
It is what it is. We're bringing old Ian on right now. Yo, bro.
There he is.
What's going on with you?
Peace. How you doing?
All right, Ian. Meet Jewel Dropper.
Hey,
Hi,
Jewel
Ian.
Dropper. Meet Ian.
I've already watched it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You had a little reverberation. You got your phone on?
Nope.
Or your computer? You got computer volume? I don't know. Let's see.
There's an echo.
Is it echo? You said?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not.
You still hear it?
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, I hear it. Dang. You don't hear it either, Ian?
No.
Oh. It's just me now.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's weird. What's going on, Ian? What you think of all this? All these shenanigans?
all the good news.
Good news as in what?
I mean, you could see, that we're definitely moving to a a level of awareness where no matter what you see in the news, people are going to be ready. You know what I'm saying, to deal with what's coming. I think that especially when you got the world doing what they're doing, there's a new level. Even if people are not necessarily keen on the nuances, on the nuanced importance of what the protests mean, I think it does mean there is a change of consciousness that is made itself available for the world. You know what I'm saying, and especially for ADOS as well too. You especially can see that online. In the groups, people are, they ain't posting the same old things they used to. You know what I'm saying? They're not having the same conversations that they used to.
I have been out of that spirit for a long time, so I haven't noticed. My folks are we're still talking the same stuff.
The same stuff you said?
The crowd I deal with, we're dealing with some woke folks. So, so we kind of been following each other's threads for years. So.
Well, I mean, it's nothing new under the sun. You know what I'm saying? It's always been around. You know what I'm saying? Whether you woke or whether you're a materialistic minded individual, it's all been there. You know what I'm saying? The question is, are we able to put it together? Whether you're woke or not woke, whether you put it together, towards some meaning, that you can advance.
And see, that's what we were just talking about, the spiritual components of all this. You got two narratives running at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
The universe and the creator working with us in this space. But you also have a lot of social engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, when you're speaking of the nuance, if people don't get the nuance, they're going to either go left or right. That's why I titled this The Crossroads. We at a crossroads point right now. So if we don't establish who left and who right, some folks that you speak of gonna get swept up. So it's
let me
good.
turn on my let me turn my light on. I want to be in the light like you guys.
Okay. Yeah, turn on your light.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be in the light. You know what I'm saying? Let me get in the light.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, man, that nuance is important, man. People got to get that. But I see what you're saying. This is good that we're getting this level of attention that we haven't gotten on a mainstream level. But we know what can happen with that. That can go left at any time. Let a mass shooter shoot up anything. The story can not even be on the front page.
So, but I'm wondering, are we going to be competing with the Epstein story here? Because even our stories merge with that narrative.
Well, speak to how those stories merge.
What narrative? You talking
I
about?
mean, it just basically,
hold on.
Epstein.
Let me ask you a question. You talking about, because you threw out Epstein. you know, and so you're talking about child abduction. You talking about child, um,
Pedophilia,
yeah, pedophilia.
fakeness.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just said something because I think the major thing that people will get or not get actually is pedophilia. I think actually that is the number one issue to get. I think everything else, whether it goes left or right, I don't think that's important as whether or not people get pedophilia going on. I mean, because because I was online today. Well, not I mean, even whenever I'm online, there's always this, people loving their pets and this and that. I'm just saying, we're not really aware of the different levels of humanity that exist. We say white and black, but it's, like you said, it's more to it than just saying the color. It's about, what is the spirit of the people that we're dealing with. And I think pedophilia, and I think that the trafficking of children is one of the biggest issues that has gone unsaid for some time, and it definitely ties in. I think even greater, it ties into slavery.
It does. It does. And that's what I'm saying. It's just, that's kind of like what I'm saying. It's just like right now we are being set up to accept slavery in all its forms and manners. And the thing about Satanists is they're very racist. So that's how I'm saying, like, at some point we merge with that narrative too, just because of how they feel about us. And that's a specific group of people.
Well, I mean, they would rather focus on the rights of black people than focus on pedophilia all day, every day. Believe that. Believe that. I mean, they got stories now that they don't promote, where they got pedophilia rings all over the country that are not going into the mainstream media whatsoever.
Yeah, they're kind of I hear how they've done is that they've localized it to the local news. Like I can find pedophile rings being busted all across the country, but it's being segmented into their local news. It's not
Yeah,
being put on the national stage.
right, right, exactly. And I think, all the focus that we are putting on, the protest, if that doesn't lead to focusing on this pedophilia, child trafficking ring, that's going to destroy us. You know what I'm saying? Because you cannot have a viable society where the kids are being taken advantage. No matter what
Nope.
we do, if we destroy the children, through pedophilia, it don't matter.
It don't
You know?
matter.
It don't matter. Nope.
Yeah, and we're dealing with a party that well, both parties are very much involved in that. Let's say that, but it's so part of the Democratic apparatus.
And
It might not be
function and
spoken on.
structure and all of that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we got to be mindful of that at all times.
Well, you say one party over the other you think is more involved.
No.
No.
No, not at all.
I think that's why there haven't been any arrests made, is because he would have to they all pee in the same pond.
Mhm.
I think like Trump has not arrested anybody because he has to tell on his cronies. I mean, we all know that Trump has some elements of the mafia that he's attached to. We know that government does business with the underground when the interests when the interests are the same, and they compete when they're different. So. Yeah, his focus is
Well,
involved.
Trump. The thing is, and I think we spoke about this before. The reason that LGBT rights are being promoted so much is so that the possibility of being blackmailed, one politician blackmailing another, is going to be off the table. Because I was saying that, if pedophilia, LGBTQ or whatever, if that became a negative in the eyes of the public, basically, like the Me Too movement has done, basically the government would be shut down. The government would be shut down instantly. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody would be trying to blackmail everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And in that way, and I think Trump, as a wild card, he's like, man, I know all this is going on. So, just know, you know what I'm saying? If you oppose me, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. You know what I'm saying? So I think he hasn't, to some degree or to the degree that they like, he hasn't been initiated into the circle, because he's always holding that over their head. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why he's able to, in some people's eyes, to go around in a sort of amoral, moralistic, with an amoralistic type of attitude and speech, because he knows that most
Hmm.
people in government are pedophiles and part of this ring. So he's like, man,
Yeah, and they don't fully trust him like that.
yeah. He's like, man, I can say what I want because y'all are doing some horrendous.
Like he not that. Like he hasn't though. There's court papers out there on him having sex with 13-year-olds and stuff. He is
Yeah.
not innocent by any stretch of the imagination. What I
Right?
do think,
It's not about being innocent. It's about being, having an allegiance. You know what I'm saying, to it, in terms of, like you said, in terms of a satanic type of ring is what I mean. I mean, they're all involved in it, but not everyone is totally committed to it. You know what I'm saying? To where
right,
they're not willing to, cut off their nose despite, you know what I'm saying, despite the
Yeah.
fate type
And
of.
then there's some of them that are riders, like they with
right,
it, they
right.
holding it up. And then it's got some of them that participated in it because they wanted to get the benefits.
Yeah.
Either way, there is no level to their Satanism.
No,
But
it's not. It's
yeah,
not. And and the thing is that the card that he holds is not only that it's locale, or it's specifically located just in the U.S. He knows that it's global. You know what I'm saying? It's in every country.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? It's not just the U.S. It's a global market. Every country where you have elite, this is
yeah.
going on. You know what I'm saying? And we
And
can't we can't say that it's not going on in Africa as
Nope.
well too. You know what I'm saying? Among Africans.
but
You know.
what's so crazy about it, what's so dangerous is if one part of it falls, the whole thing
Default.
collapses.
Yeah. The whole. Yeah. Exactly.
Because Trump is connected to Alan Dershowitz, because Alan Dershowitz got off. What's that weird rat? Well, I forgot his name, but he was over the Epstein case
Mhm.
that Trump got him and brought him into his cabinet once Epstein was given that soft time in Florida. Alan Dershowitz was also defending Trump when it came to his connection with Epstein. And now Dershowitz comes out talking about mandatory vaccines are constitutional.
hmm
or
Yeah, but look how many
mandatory
times we're on
vaccines
the island
supersede
too, though.
the Constitution. Say what?
But look how many times and he was on that. Dershowitz was on that island too. Like he's on there
Exactly.
several times.
Exactly.
You know, so for him to come out talking about vaccine, at this point, I think they're really trying to cover their butts and get this stuff out there as quickly as possible, because in a minute they're not going to be able to walk the streets.
Well, hold up. Well, I mean, let's go back. So you're saying that the vaccination push is connected to pedophilia? Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How so? How so? How so?
You,
Well,
I mean, when you look at. Go ahead.
you got the same people over both operations. Let's be clear. Gates invested money with Epstein.
Mhm.
They both were dealing with transhumanism technology.
Mhm.
So Gates was financing a lot of the stuff that Epstein was involved in, including the adrenochrome stuff. So all of this stuff is connected to population control,
Mhm. Mhm.
especially
Okay.
and the pedophilia is connected to the adrenochrome, and everything's related to the disdain for black people.
Well, I mean, so strategically, you know, how would a vaccine fit in? You know what I'm saying? Because I see the vaccine, you know, being the minor player, and you know, as like we said, the pedophilia being the major player. So how does the vaccinations then lend to a protection, you know, if you would, of this um, of this global evil that's happening?
Focus.
Mm.
Say again?
Focus.
Focus. Mm.
I mean, it's been a lot of that. It's been a lot. Okay, let's start this in the street. So, I mean, because the minute these riots started, like the Epstein story was catching steam again. Lots of good new information coming out, like by the day, that are people that are really researching this stuff and getting the details and getting it to the nitty gritty. Like the minute, like George Floyd situation happened, all that information kind of died back down again. You know, so it's always right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. Don't you know what I mean? So our focus is all over the place when it really is just one big matrix kind of, I don't know, format that we need to be looking at. You just can't consider news and just look at this one piece anymore. You gotta be like, okay, if this is happening here, what is happening here? And like that's what we must do at this point.
So there's been new news on the Epstein situation.
Yeah.
Okay,
And there's
so
also
I gotta look into it because I haven't been following it. So
Clinton, Bush, Epstein, Weinstein, how all those folks are connected. Yeah, and there's lots of stuff hitting the pike.
Well, I mean, and even when I was asking that, yeah, from a awareness standpoint, we have to be strategic, yeah, and but I'm even saying just from a physiological standpoint, you know what I'm saying? How do vaccinations, help to I guess subdue children. You know what I'm saying, and put them at in a vulnerable and even a more vulnerable place to what's going on. You know,
well, if you look at
what happened in India, if you have that many sick kids, you have nothing to rise up and fight opposition in your coming generation. I mean, they basically flatlined a generation of children in India. with vaccination. They've been doing it to us in other ways with job suppression, keeping us poor, our unemployment situations. There's many different ways that you can flatten generations. They just got sick of doing the slow genocide. Now they're like, ooh, let's hop to it. These people aren't dying fast enough. They're not being ill. Strong, healthy populations are not in the Satanist best interest. Period.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. I mean, but I think that what we had occur, as you mentioned before, when you talk about Floyd's death, one of the things it's not that Floyd's death was a distraction. It's that Floyd's death was co-opted by, as what we know, the BLM. And as we know, the BLM, is a LGBT.
I don't think it was co-opted. I think that's where it started.
No, let me finish. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay.
Let me finish what I'm saying. The BLM, Black Lives Matter, is run by women who are LGBTQ. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
flat out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they promote. When you go to their website, that is exactly what they're saying that they are concerned with. So had this protest been strictly related to the death of Floyd, it could have grown into a type of movement that could address some other issues. But as we know, if you know about the BLM, they even when they came out, when they started in Ferguson, they were able to take the steam out of the righteous anger and indignation that those black folks had. So what you have, even when you go online, you have an infusion of this LGBTQ coming in even to the righteous indignation, to where they're trying to say that you can be angry and but LGBTQ pedophilia is off the table because we're right alongside you. You know what I'm saying? Just as angry. You know what I'm saying? We're just as angry and upset about his death as you are, but in fact they're not.
They're
You know what I'm
not.
saying? They just want to stand next to you and for you to have this comfortability with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To where, they're saying as long as they're not killing black men, it's okay to molest the children. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the play. You know what I'm saying? And if you understand who's funding BLM, George Soros, and other dark
Mm-hmm.
money, things like that, you
Mm-hmm.
understand that's what their goal is.
What was you about to say, Jewel?
I don't think they intend to give up either. I just don't. I think they've always had their cake and been eating it too, and I don't think this staged whatever this thing is with George Soros, I don't think that's going to stop it either way. They've been doing both things. I don't see them not doing either one.
Yeah.
Either one.
Yeah, I don't see how not killing black men allows them to be pedophilic with children. I don't think they're going to stop doing either one.
Yeah, right. Of course.
Well, we know that. So
No doubt.
the next move is, how do we go from, I hate to say this, where do we go from here? When we see that the movement is being co-opted.
Well, but we still can't let go. We can't just be dismissive of whether or not they're going to do what they're going to do is irrelevant as to what we focus on and what our goal is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so that being said, keeping a focus on the death of Floyd as a black man, I think when we talk about what is our next move, that has to be the next move. The next move has to be making sure that black men are there as the protectors of the community. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of feminists and whoever, you know what I'm saying, you know, they're independent minded, and you know what I'm saying, you got this gender ideology where they don't believe that the male species has any real determinate value. But at the end of the day, what has always been throughout the history of the world, men have, and righteous men, properly groomed, properly trained, have been the protectors of the family and of the nation. So
I
so
mean,
so
and not only that, it's just like every nation's wealth is tied up in its men. It's not tied up in its women. It's tied up in its men.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah. So I think what we missed with George Floyd, and this is how I tied it in, is this the it started out okay. They killing black men in mass, and then it became they were saying George Floyd, and then BLM came in, and they started talking about this inclusionist type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we miss the rising of the consciousness where we should be focusing on the black male, not because of a superiority, but just because of the positioning, the position that he fills. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that the homes are secure. I mean, the homes, are not secured mostly because there are not men there in the homes. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, women do not want strong men in the home to protect the children. You know what I'm saying? You throw in Dr. Spock, and so on and so forth. Women don't want men who are authoritarians. You know what I'm saying? And women don't want a situation where men are chaperoning, the daughters back and forth, to school or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because the mother's going to be like, you're embarrassing our daughter. You know what I'm saying?
You
I
really
mean, that's the
believe that,
that's
huh?
yeah. I mean, that's the sentiment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have two kids of my own. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a young sprout myself. You know what I'm saying? I know this. I know this firsthand. Protecting children, is no longer acceptable. To women. You know what I'm saying? It's not. Being friends with children is and giving them more and more leeway and rights is now where the country's going. And when you say think, it's not think. I mean, you look at Dwayne Wade, and you look at his wife, saying that their son has a right, all right, has a right to choose his sexuality, outside of the direction and guidance of the male in the home. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you just look at people's reaction. They were
You
like,
cannot. You
I
can.
mean,
Excuse me.
you
I'm
gotta,
sorry.
you
I'm sorry. I'm
well,
sorry.
no, I mean, it's
I'm
not me.
sorry.
I know. I'm just
I'm
giving you
sorry.
what.
No,
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 don't
no,
don't be
no.
don't be sorry. I'm just let me finish.
I'm
Let me finish. Let me finish. Look, but let me finish, and you can respond. The response to Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union's decision, right? And has been in the black community almost universal, that they feel that a child now has a right, you know what I'm saying, to determine who and what they are, and that sort of independent mindset, you know what I'm saying, does not lend itself to being governed by a male in the home.
But that wasn't universal. It was a lot of pushback. A lot of pushback on on Wade, bro. A lot
A
of
lot
pushback.
of pushback.
Even women was pushing
Many
back on
women,
Wade. Not
many
not
women
to
on
say
YouTube.
not
Many,
to
many
say that
women.
there is a major social engineering taking place to feminize black men. We know that. We're clear on that.
Absolutely.
Jewel, go ahead with your rebuttal
You just
of
kind
what
of
he was
said
saying.
what I was going to say because I watch a lot of women on YouTube and like the heavy hitters like the lovely PIs, the Tasha K, a lot of them were hitting back on that. And I know even in my own little 2,000 or 3,000 friends Facebook, there was a lot of pushback, a lot of detail. So even when you're talking about celebrities, I don't think that is um, indicative of what average Black America is is instigating. I just don't. There was
Well, I
just
mean, I don't.
I'm
I
not
mean,
done.
I don't.
I'm not done. I'm not done. So my whole thing is you cannot take Black society that's at the bottom, put us in the funnel, and be like, okay, we're agreeing with whatever this celebrity is doing in regards to his children, because I know for just my experience where I live in, where Black children, for the most part, are in the home with a mother and a father. That's not going down. So you made that sound as if that was mostly Black America and Black women agreeing with that. And I'm just sorry. I just don't think that's the case. So I just have to push back a little bit on that. Um, in order for you to just come out and say that. I think maybe you said a sector of Black society or a slither or something, but I just can't sit up here and let you say that Black people just accept that behavior and are okay with it.
Well, I'm not really here to litigate that point. I was just making you aware of something, okay? Because we can assume that people are not for it, but what we do not do enough is call out uh, you know the situations that are not conducive to to our success. And I think whether or not you say there was pushback or not, that's not good enough. It's not good enough to say that you witnessed pushback, because at the end of the day, what's being legislated, you know what I'm saying, whether that there's pushback or not, what's being legislated does not reflect whatever pushback that you say is happening.
But Black folks aren't
And
doing that legislation though. Now, if Black folks were doing the legislating, I could see you having that stance. But since Black people aren't the people that aren't the ones legislating these laws, I still can't just sit up here and let you just go like that.
well, you keep saying "let me," and then you say that you're not sure if I'm
I
talking
didn't say
about
that
a
I wasn't sure about
sector.
anything.
Well, let me
I
finish.
said,
Finish.
I said that Black
Me
people
finish.
are not
Let me
legislating
now
these laws.
let me finish. Now let me finish. Then you said you're not sure if I'm talking about a sector or not. Now,
That's not what.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of how many it is or isn't. I'm not making that determination. The amount, is not the point that I was making. And then on top of that, I have to go back to the point that I was making. The point that I was making is not even what you're bringing up. You two said this is about the feminization of Black males, and that wasn't even the point. The point, which I was connecting to Black women, was a sense of self determination, the sense of independent mindedness. All right, that was the point. Now we can discuss how many are for the effemination of Black males. That is another conversation in itself. But what I'm honing in on is the actual mindset of feminism that says that I'm my own person, separate from the collective. And I will tell you right, in large numbers, that our youth do have an independent mind that is separate from the collective. And I'm saying that in itself, whether or not we're getting into the effemination part, that in itself makes a child vulnerable to just about anything. All right. So again, you could push back, and we can do the whack-a-mole for each negative thing that our children face. But it starts with this idea that our children have been emancipated, and it is large numbers of our women who are pushing this emancipation for their children.
I got what you're saying. You're saying your point was speaking on the emancipation, not the feminization.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So with that being said, we have a push to divide. So strategically, we should move as a unit.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be mindful of that energy and not fall into the trap of being in defense mode to feminism by saying it's only about, not saying you said only, but where the focus is only geared to Black men. Strategically, I understand what you're saying, but strategically, the way we present the argument so it's not co-opted,
Mm-hmm.
we have to move as a unit, saying, look, Black men, Black women, Black children, the Black family. We got to move like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the Black male, as part of the unit that has been missing, is not making the determination. Is not a determinate factor as you would, of how this dynamic is to operate. And I think that the Black male's input as to how this dynamic should operate, I think, has been left out. And so what I was getting to,
it hasn't been left out; it's been cut out.
Well, yeah, of course, left out, cut out, however you want to describe it. But at the end of the day, that leaves our children vulnerable. And that's the takeaway. So when I was saying, that women are leaving the children vulnerable, it's because they are infusing the children with the mindset that you do not need a male there to protect you. I mean, believe me, there's no way, if there's a Black male holding the hand of a child, that anybody that's part of a ring is going to think that they could step in. You know what I'm saying? And take advantage in any way of that child. That's just the reality. That's just real brass tacks right there. You know what I'm saying? You can have whatever opinion you want, but people are going to think twice if a male is constantly, continually, with a child, and you see that togetherness. I mean, that's just flat out.
Definitely, warfare was waged through feminism to get us out of the home to a certain extent. That was strategic, and that left us vulnerable to where we are right now.
Crazy about that situation is when you go back and you read those laws, it's not really written in the laws. It's just that when the caseworkers were coming to the house, it was inferred and implied. You know what I mean? It wasn't technically written.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of did a finesse with that, and
yeah,
incentives.
Yeah. I mean, so and then you have this idea of this competition, for the mind of the child. You know what I'm saying? Black women are in competition for control of the directional control of the children. That's just what it is. And for the most part, before you even get to the effemination aspect, the mind of the Black woman in mass today, more times than not, she's her strive, her striving goal for the children are to become more adjusted to the overall culture. You know what I'm saying? More not more accepting. You know what I'm saying, of what the overall culture has to offer. And so, and I think in a lot of ways, black males, especially in the condition that they're in, we're almost like rebels in a sense. You know what I'm saying? We're not going for any and everything. You know what I'm saying? By our nature, and by the fact that our life, the life that we live, says, but before we even, when you talk about being woke, in a lot of ways, black men don't have to be woke because our experience wakes us up. You know what I'm saying? Our experience.
Yeah. I mean,
And
You know
I
what
hear
I'm
what
when
you're saying.
I say woke, it's not in the sense of like what you're saying is what we most perceive as woke. What I mean is just somebody that understands what's going on in the world right now and how it affects them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, and a big part of that wokeness, and I think that's missing is who is the black male and what is his key role in the family. And I so you have a lot of people who are aware of a lot of things, but if you
And
haven't come to
and
the
it's a lot.
point.
It's a lot of sleep niggas too. Let's be honest about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is. I mean, and so but I'm when I say a lot of people, I'm saying men, males, and females, because again, if you came under the tutelage of this independent mindset, you know what I'm saying, as a male, you're going to be susceptible your own self. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about a feminist, you have male and female feminists. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The feminist is a concept, and a male can also be taught that concept just as easy as a female. It looks different. It looks different when he does it, because he always retains some level of his masculinity, but there are key points in the life of the family. There are key points in the life of the child where if he has that feminist mindset, he's going to drop the ball.
Hmm.
Just flat out. You know what I'm saying? When that key point in time comes, when that crossroad comes, he gonna drop the ball.
Mm. Yeah. And that's a perfect segue to what this was about. This conversation about the crossroads. And I think we, as a tribe, are at a crossroads right now.
For
And
sure.
we got some choice to make. But in closing, when looking at the crossroads, my perspective of it is we need to move as a unit and not be
Mhm.
distracted and fall into the divisionary tactics while still calling out the bullshit.
Yeah.
The bullshit must be called out. But we got to understand that we are a tribe, you know?
Hmm.
And every when you look at the game of chess, you got the queen and you got the king. You need both pieces at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's how we got to move. We have to. I think the core of what we got to do in all of this, we have to strengthen our relationship between each other, black men and black women. If we ain't
Right.
doing that, this is all for naught.
It is.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the best point of all. And I mentioned the George Floyd situation because that was a key opportunity for women to open up their hearts, if towards black men. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was divine. That was divinely put. You know what I'm saying? If for no other reason, for black men, for black women to gain more empathy. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? For black men, so there can be a greater bridging of that
Yeah. And
of
I
that
and I
that.
saw a lot of that. I saw a lot of black
I
women
saw a lot of
growing
it
up.
too.
Yeah, I saw a whole lot of it. And yes, you have trolls online that are feminists that are ops, they're agent
Yeah.
provocateurs. That of course they say, what about the woman? What about Breonna? No, They're
What
not
about
doing it.
criminal records? Like Candace Owens is doing a number on us for real. Like,
Exactly. So you're gonna have those bad actors in all of this. But at the end of the day, overwhelmingly, I saw black women that were empathetic about the George Floyd situation.
Yeah, but empathetic in a way where it translates to their practical, everyday relatability. You know what I'm saying to black men. You know what I'm saying? That you know what I'm saying. So us going out and protesting, but after that happens, what are the relationships going to look like, and how are you going to look at that black male? Are you going to look when I say sympathetic, not just at black male death, but are you going to look at the whole slew of challenges that black males face? Where at one point you're saying, okay, if you don't make enough money as me, black male, you don't deserve to be in the home, type of thing. You understand what I'm saying? George Floyd had, he had 20, he had $20. You know what I'm saying? That
Mm.
means, as Yvette says, if you're at a point where you're trying to pass off a fake 20, whether that there was a case or not, you have to understand this is a black male trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? And that is indicative in mass of black men. You know what I'm saying? And these same black men are being rejected from the home, even though they're good men, and they're trying to get the money. You know what I'm saying? Hook or crook, they're not being accepted and valued in the home. You know what I'm saying? To the degree that we need to fight this pedophilia ring. You know what I'm saying? This sex trafficking ring that's happening. That's the first and foremost reason why you need a male, there to ward off, this mindset, that this independent mindset. You know what I'm saying? That the kids can just be who they are. They can go to college, you know what I'm saying, and become who they are. You can't just go and be who you are. You know what I'm saying? If you go be who you are, you're gonna become like who? Like them.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Based on the training, that you're gonna get, all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? They're not giving you no other training except for what leads in that direction. Either you're gonna be someone who's doing it or someone who's allowing it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But the black male, he's throwing a wrench in in that whole program, whether he's doing it consciously or unconsciously. He is throwing a wrench into that programming.
Well, the Bible speaks of Lazarus waking from a shallow grave, correct?
Hmm.
So we got to wake up. We got to stand up as men in all of this. You know, that's
Hmm.
that's clear.
Yeah.
And take some arrows that come with it. You know,
Bro, I done took enough.
you stay taking arrows. You know,
I stay taking arrows. You know what I'm saying? Most folks ain't ready for a man, to stand up. You know what I'm saying? And they expect a man who's standing up to look like something, specific type, to talk like a specific type. I'm telling you, I got a lion in me, and and I'm gonna keep that same drumbeat, because I don't have no choice. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no choice to be for manhood, and not manhood in terms of wanting to be patriarchy like white males. You know what I'm saying? Manhood in terms of the family dynamic. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Whatever that means. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, if you ain't got that money, you know what I'm saying, you can't be part of that dynamic. You know what I'm saying? That's the
Yeah,
overarching sentiment. You know what I'm saying? In terms of
definitely.
in terms of how, especially how women see family. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Yeah, that's true.
They want you to
Definitely.
come up under the tutelage of a white man, you know what I'm saying? So he can teach you to be okay with sex trafficking and pedophilia. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Wow. No.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
That's
Go get
it.
that out. So and learn his ways. You know, as
Mhm.
long as you bring home that money, you know,
Yeah,
it, it's acceptable to bring them ways home.
yeah. Jewel, where do you see the crossroads and the direction we need to take?
It's just pretty much on par with what he said. Like men and women, we have got to come together and stand in that gap and say no, call them out, and still state our case. We just got to be focusing on point on what it is that we want for our group, and what are the tools that we need to get there. And the black woman and the black man have never been able to do that as apart from each other. Never has that happened. So it's not going to happen now. So we're definitely like at a crossroads. We need more people to wake up and realize how all this is connected, and and stand up for it. We got to
Mhm.
stand in the gap. We got to just say no. They're like, no, we're not going for this.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Jewel Dropper, Ian Graves. Thank
Yes,
y'all.
sir.
This y'all first time on at the same time. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this. And look, at the end of the day, pushback is good, and we ain't gonna always agree on everything. And it's good to sharpen our swords with each other, because I'd rather us
Oh, that was
chop it up with
what
each
he
other.
said.
You know, I'd rather us chop it up with each other and have conversations and work through it. You know,
Yeah, because women and men, like, we do not think alike at all.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we both have different perspectives.
Exactly.
You know, and by no means has either side been easy when you're talking about ADOS. You know,
Mhm.
so at the end of the day, we are at war, and we need each other.
Right. And we need to map out, you know what I'm saying, how each one of us as male and female, holds that space outside of the European Yurugu. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We got to look at it from another perspective, a Eastern, African like Yurugu, where we understand the male and the female are dynamics that exist and that are needed, regardless as to what the circumstances are. You can't get rid of either one. You know what I'm saying? Both are necessary. You know what I'm saying? Always. There's never a time where one or the other is not necessary under any circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Under any circumstance. Unless you are the Europeans and got all the power and the money in the world, then you can throw away that dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
if you're ruling the world, you know what I'm saying? That dynamic doesn't even matter.
Matter. Right? Right?
You know.
For sure.
Shit.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want to put this out there. I don't know if either of you have seen it, but white supremacy is doing this thing again. They have all these videos where they're catering for black women to come work for the FBI,
Mm.
but there is I have not seen, and I've been looking for them. There's no commercials catering to black men to come work for the FBI.
Can you send me some of that? Can you send me that stuff?
I don't know how to do. I don't know how you send a YouTube commercial, but that's
YouTube commercial. Wow.
Yeah, they're
No,
catering for black women to come work for the FBI. So we know there must be some sort of change about to come about in mass.
That's crazy. On YouTube.
On YouTube.
Man.
Yeah. You can send a YouTube commercial. When the commercial is on, if you press share, you know what I'm saying, you can capture it before the actual video that it precedes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you do that, please let me see that, because that's hilarious.
It is. I mean, it's just more separation, because they know women are going to rush for those jobs because they're good paying jobs.
Yeah.
A lot like before 9. I don't know if you guys remember this, but right before 9/11, the FBI was about to get audited because of a lot of crappy investigative work that they had done. Like their offices were in shambles, the evidence rooms were in shambles. They were railroading folks. A lot of lawyers had kind of gotten together. They were like, "Well, we're going to get together and we're going to press for the FBI to be audited because how this information came to us in regards to our clients wasn't copacetic." So there was a lot going on with them even back then. We were about to really rail against the machine as a community, like right before 9/11, and a lot of that centered around the FBI. So they're definitely going to try to make some sort of change, and I think Black women are going to be the pawns in that scheme. Now, because I've never seen commercials like this.
Wow. Yeah. I just hope the sisters, don't fall for it too much.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, but that's what we're saying. Because see, understand, as male or female, we both are subject to certain certain tricks, right? But if you honor the dynamic of the other, you see what I'm saying? Whatever trick is being thrown at you, you know what I'm saying?
You won't fall for it.
You'll be able to sync up to where whatever it is won't be able to directly attach to you because you attach to my mate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or whatever dynamic he or she got going on. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I loved it, y'all. And I enjoyed this. And I always know that y'all both gonna stand on y'all square. And if y'all don't agree with the shit, y'all gonna be like, no, fuck that. So
Pretty much.
right. So peace and love. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thank y'all.
All right.
Hi.
Peace.
Good night.